The Grand Canyon, a vast scar across the earth carved by time and the relentless Colorado River. The whispers began subtly, like the rustling of leaves in a gentle breeze. They seemed to emanate from the canyon walls, carried on the wind that swirled through its depths. As the sun set, painting the sky in hues of orange, purple, and crimson, the whispers grew louder, more insistent. Sarah, a young photographer with a thirst for adventure, had been captivated by the tales of the Whispering Canyon from the moment she arrived in Cedar Grove. Here, in the vast emptiness of the desert, she found a silence more profound than she could have ever imagined, broken only by the wind and the whispers from the canyon.
Sarah was not afraid of the canyon's whispers. She found them alluring, like the siren song of a mythical creature promising hidden truths. She believed there was beauty even in the darkest places and was determined to capture it with her camera, to share it with the world.
One evening, as the sun began its final descent, Sarah found herself drawn to a secluded trail leading to a place called the Devil's Throat.
This was it, she thought, where the whispers would reveal themselves.
The air was heavy with pine and dust, and the silence was almost absolute, broken only by Sarah's footsteps. She pressed onward, her camera clutched tightly, her senses on high alert. The last rays of sunlight painted the canyon walls in deep purple and crimson.
Sarah, her heart pounding with anticipation, rounded a bend and found herself at the entrance to a narrow gorge. The silence here was profound, broken only by the faint whisper of the wind.
The deeper Sarah ventured into the gorge, the more oppressive the atmosphere became.
The canyon walls seemed to press in from all sides, their rough surfaces a tapestry of shadows and whispers.
She could feel the weight of the canyon bearing down on her, heightening her senses. As darkness descended, the whispers began. At first, they were faint, like the rustling of leaves.
Where are these voices coming from?
They seemed to emanate from the canyon walls, from the shadows, from the air itself. They spoke of ancient secrets, forgotten tragedies, and lost souls.
I can feel their sorrow. It's overwhelming.
As the last rays of light retreated, the whispers intensified, morphing into a chilling cacophony.
Why do they know my name?
The air grew heavy with dread and the temperature plummeted. The shadows began to solidify, taking on grotesque forms.
What are these things?
They were drawn to her, to the warmth of her living presence. Through the viewfinder, the shadows resolved into distinct figures, their features horrifyingly clear.
They're people, or they were.
Their eyes, hollow and glowing, stared at her with longing and accusation. "Join us! Please join us!" These were not monsters, but lost souls bound to the canyon.
No, I can't. I won't.
They reached for her, their touch promising an eternity of shared sorrow.
I have to get out of here.
The canyon's silence was now a haunting echo of their despair.
Summoning the last of my willpower, I fought against the encroaching numbness.
The figures edged closer, their whispers a deafening roar. She could feel their coldness against her skin, their touch draining her warmth. But as one figure stepped into the camera's lens, a strange thing happened. The figure flinched, the whispers faltered. It was the flash, the sudden burst of light, that caused the disruption. The figures recoiled from the illumination, their forms flickering like flames.
Hope, fragile as a butterfly, fluttered in my chest.
She snapped another photo, the flash cutting through the gloom. The figures recoiled, their whispers turning into hisses. With newfound determination, Sarah scrambled back, her eyes darting between the viewfinder and the path ahead. The figures hesitated, their whispers now laced with confusion.
I knew I couldn't outrun them, but I could use their weakness against them.
And so she ran, the camera clutched tightly, each flash a desperate prayer against the darkness. The light was her only weapon against the shadows of the Whispering Canyon. The path, treacherous and uneven, became a blur beneath Sarah's feet. The camera flashed again and again, holding the figures at bay. Each burst of light was a fleeting reprieve, the battery indicator blinking ominously. The canyon walls felt like the bars of a prison, the path ahead a tunnel with no end in sight. Stumbling out of the gorge, Sarah collapsed onto the familiar ground.
The moon, a sliver of silver, offered little illumination, but it was enough to see I was alone.
The figures had not followed her into the open canyon.
My breath came in ragged gasps, my legs trembling beneath me, but I was alive.
As the adrenaline subsided, the full weight of the encounter crashed down upon her.
The whispers still echoed in my mind, a haunting chorus.
The camera, its battery depleted, felt heavy and lifeless. The canyon, once a source of inspiration, now held a sinister beauty. The days that followed were a blur of restless nights and anxiety-ridden days.
The camera lay abandoned, its lens covered, as if to shut out the horrors it had captured.
Sleep offered no respite, the whispers following her into her dreams.
The faces of the lost haunted my waking hours, their sorrow a tangible presence.
The Whispering Canyon was real, its darkness a force that had left an indelible mark on her soul. One cool evening, as the sun began its final descent, casting long shadows across the town of Cedar Grove, Sarah found herself drawn back to the edge of the canyon. The sky was painted in hues of orange and pink, a breathtaking canvas that seemed to call out to her, urging her to take one last frame. The wind, whipping through the pines, carried the faintest of whispers, a siren song that tugged at her soul. It was as if the canyon itself was alive, breathing secrets into the air, secrets that only she could hear.
My camera, dusted off and loaded with fresh film, felt heavy in my hands, a familiar weight that both comforted and terrified me. Each click of the shutter was a step closer to the unknown, a journey into the depths of my own fears and curiosities.
The locals, those who knew of her encounter with the whispers, greeted her with wary glances, their eyes filled with a mixture of pity and fear. They whispered among themselves, their voices a low hum that added to the eerie atmosphere of the evening. They had warned her about the canyon's power, its ability to lure the unsuspecting to their doom. Tales of lost souls and mysterious disappearances were common, each story more chilling than the last. But their warnings, once heeded, now fell on deaf ears. Sarah was no longer the naive girl who'd first ventured to the canyon's edge. She was determined, driven by a force she could neither understand nor resist.
Driven by a force I could neither understand nor resist, I was compelled to return to the abyss. The pull was stronger than ever, an invisible thread that tied me to the canyon's depths. I had stared into the face of darkness and had emerged, albeit scarred, from the encounter. The memories of that night were etched into my mind, a haunting reminder of the power that lay within the canyon. But the darkness had left its mark, a seed of curiosity that bloomed into an obsession. I needed to understand, to uncover the truth that lay hidden within the shadows.
With a deep breath, Sarah stepped closer to the edge, the ground falling away beneath her. The wind picked up, whipping her hair around her face, carrying with it the faintest of whispers, a chorus of voices beckoning her forward. She felt a strange sense of calm, as if she was exactly where she was meant to be.
Raising the camera to my eye, I focused on the path that led down into the canyon's depths. The path was narrow and treacherous, but it was the only way to reach the heart of the Whispering Gorge, the path that would lead me back to the Whispering Gorge. This time, I was ready. This time, I would be the one in control. This time, I would capture the whispers, not in fear, but in defiance. This time, I would show the world the truth that lay hidden within the heart of the canyon. The camera clicked, capturing the moment, and with it, the promise of uncovering the secrets that had eluded so many before me. The journey was just beginning, and I was prepared to face whatever lay ahead.
The sun rose on a cedar grove eerily devoid of Sarah's familiar presence. The first light of dawn cast long shadows over the quiet streets, illuminating the absence that everyone felt but no one spoke of. The scent of pine and dust hung heavy in the air, the morning breeze whispering through the trees, but the town felt strangely empty, without her vibrant energy. The usual morning chatter was replaced by a heavy silence, a silence that seemed to echo Sarah's absence.
The locals, their faces etched with a mixture of sorrow and grim acceptance, went about their daily routines, their movements subdued, their conversations hushed. Each step they took seemed heavier. Each word they spoke seemed softer, as if the weight of Sarah's disappearance had settled over them like a shroud. They knew, deep in their hearts, that my return to the Whispering Canyon had been a journey with no return. The canyon, with its eerie silence and haunting beauty, had claimed another soul, leaving the town to mourn in quiet despair.
Days turned into weeks, then months, and still there was no sign of the young photographer. The seasons changed, the world moved on, but the memory of Sarah lingered, a ghost that refused to fade. Search parties, organized in the initial aftermath of her disappearance, scoured the canyon's trails, their calls echoing unanswered through the vast emptiness. They combed every inch of the rugged terrain, their hopes dwindling with each fruitless search. They found no trace of her, no sign of a struggle, no indication of what fate had befallen her in the depths of that cursed place. The canyon remained as enigmatic as ever, its secrets buried deep within its ancient rocks.
The canyon, as if swallowing its secrets whole, offered no clues, only the endless whisper of the wind through the ancient rocks. It was as if the very earth had conspired to keep Sarah's fate hidden, leaving only questions and heartache in its wake. The townsfolk, their initial hope fading with each passing season, eventually abandoned their search, accepting the tragic truth that I was gone. The streets of Cedar Grove, once filled with life and laughter, now stood as a silent testament to the loss they had endured. The silence remained, a constant reminder of the vibrant spirit that had once brought so much joy to their lives.
The legend of the Whispering Canyon, once a tale whispered in hushed tones around crackling fires, has been passed down through generations. It was a story that captivated the imagination, a tale of mystery and intrigue that seemed almost too fantastical to be true. However, the legend took on a renewed sense of urgency after Sarah's disappearance. Her vanishing was not just another story to be told around the campfire. It was a real and haunting event that shook the community to its core. The once fantastical tale became a cautionary one, a stark reminder of the unseen forces that lurked beneath the surface of the world. It was a warning to those who would dare to tempt fate by venturing too close to the edge of the abyss, a place where reality and legend seemed to blur. The abyss, with its seemingly endless depths, became a symbol of the unknown dangers that awaited those who were too curious or too bold. It was a place where the line between the natural and the supernatural was thin, and where the whispers of the canyon could be heard most clearly.
The whispers, once dismissed by some as mere tricks of the wind, now carried a chilling weight. They were no longer just sounds carried on the breeze. They were voices, echoes of the past, and perhaps even warnings of the future. Their unseen chorus was a constant reminder of the canyon's power, a power that was both awe-inspiring and terrifying. It was a place where the natural world and the supernatural seemed to coexist, where the boundaries of reality were constantly being tested.
Hikers, once eager to explore its hidden trails, now tread carefully. The allure of the canyon's beauty was still there, but it was now tinged with a sense of caution. Every step was taken with care, every sound was listened to with heightened senses. Their ears were attuned to any sound that might betray the presence of something otherworldly. The rustle of leaves, the distant call of a bird, even the sound of their own footsteps seemed to carry a deeper meaning. The canyon, once a source of inspiration and awe, now held a palpable sense of dread. Its beauty was still undeniable, but it was a beauty that was now tinged with a chilling awareness of the darkness that lay hidden beneath its surface. The stunning vistas and breathtaking landscapes were still there, but they were now seen through a different lens. The canyon's allure was now intertwined with a sense of foreboding, a reminder that beauty and danger often go hand in hand.
And yet, despite the tragedy, despite the fear that lingered in the air like the scent of rain on dry earth, there were those who were drawn to the canyon's mystique. They were the curious, the brave, and the ones who sought to understand the unknown. Their curiosity was piqued by the very whispers that sent shivers down the spines of others. They came seeking answers, hoping to unravel the mysteries that the canyon held, and perhaps even to find a connection to the past. They were adventurers, explorers, and dreamers, each one hoping to capture a piece of the magic that had captivated so many before them. The canyon, with all its mysteries and dangers, continued to call out to those who were willing to listen, to those who were brave enough to seek the truth.